Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is the fifth and final installment to the Indiana Jones franchise, this time directed by James Mangold. Harrison Ford reprises his role as Indiana Jones for the very last time as he teams up with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character as they try to locate this ancient dial. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So my initial thoughts on the movie is that I didn't really like it, but it's a confusing movie to talk about because it wasn't the worst movie I ever seen, but it wasn't a good movie, so it's just a mixed bag altogether. I think Indiana Jones was fun to watch, but there was a lot of things that just draw out his character, and this story is not fun at all to watch. While Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is the most criticized person going into this movie, was annoying and stupid, but she didn't ruin the movie. But nevertheless, we'll talk about it right now. Per usual, let's start with the story first. So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny follows Indiana Jones and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character. I don't remember Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character's name because she was so forgettable, so I'm just going to refer to her as Phoebe Waller-Bridge. However, those two team up together to locate an ancient dial that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character's father was always interested in. However, when they're trying to locate this dial, they are then attacked or they're pursued by a former German government spies that are also trying to locate this specific dial. So they're just rushing to the dial to see who gets it first, and they clash with each other. What do I think of the story for Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny? As someone who really loves the trilogy of the Indiana Jones franchise with Raiders, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade, this movie is nothing like them at all whatsoever, and it's extremely boring. However, it does have a lot of good spots that I do recommend. The beginning of this movie is very good. It's really entertaining. However, what's the issue in the beginning is that they rely heavily on de-aging CGI to Harrison Ford's face, and it's super recognizable and you can't get past it, and it kind of takes you out of the experience, but it's a really thrilling act. However, after that, the movie just becomes an absolute drag. I mean, I almost fell asleep during one part of this movie, and I also went to the bathroom twice, and me fighting going to sleep and going to the bathroom twice was the most entertaining moment while experiencing this film because it really has nothing to offer. However, the characters in this movie are not good at all besides Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones himself is kind of drawn out. He's just an old guy that really can't do it anymore. And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge walks in and doesn't take the spotlight from him. A lot of people were concerned that that's what was going to happen. But for me, I didn't really see it that way. However, she's still really obnoxious and really annoying. And every single time she was on screen, I was kind of hoping she would just go away. But she didn't ruin the movie entirely. She didn't make anything interesting. Overall, this story is really simple, but simple is just an understatement. It's a complete drag, and this movie runs for 2 hours and 34 minutes, and it shouldn't be that long. And this is an adventure movie. Indiana Jones is an adventure movie. This should be a great, fun adventure, and it's an absolute snooze fest. So I personally really did not like this story, and I was really disappointed. The Indiana Jones franchise is built on its amazing adventures and its brilliant action. This was given to us by Steven Spielberg. So in the last and final Indiana Jones film, it is helmed by James Mangold. So how good is the entertainment value for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Personally, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. You have a lot of sequences that are very well directed and exciting to watch, but the context of each action sequence isn't really good. So it's cool to watch, but the meaning behind it isn't good. So it's a very strange movie to consume. And personally, even though I was entertained by the action, the context just threw me out of the window. So overall, I think James Mangold, it can do no wrong really when it comes to making an action movie or action in general in film. He's done an excellent job with the previous movies he's made, and he does an excellent job in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. However, there's not a lot of action throughout this movie. Yes, when there's action on the screen, it's done well, but there's just not enough in this 2-hour, 30-minute movie. But Harrison Ford, I think also there's a kind of an issue in regards to me. When you see Harrison Ford the way he is in this movie, he's either one, a younger version of himself that de-ages his face, so it's super noticeable and it takes you out of the experience. When you're in present time, Harrison Ford is like 80 years old, so you can't really take it serious when you have an 80-year-old Indiana Jones roaming around. And this is a big criticism I had going into the movie, that I thought that this movie couldn't carry anything with an 80-year-old Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. It was just going to feel so weird and so lackadaisical, and that's exactly how it felt. To recap the entertainment value, even though the action sequences themselves were fun to watch, the context was not there at all, which made me not care whatsoever about the action that I was watching on screen. And for me, that is always bad, but if you're looking specifically at the action, it's entertaining, but it's not the best at all in the franchise. It's a little bit better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but each of the three in the trilogy absolutely destroy this movie altogether. So for me, I was disappointed, but honestly, I expected this to be the way that it was. To sum it up, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is not a good movie. When I went into this film, I thought it was going to be the biggest pile of garbage I've ever seen in my entire life, but that's not the case. But this movie also is not good, so either way, it's still bad. Harrison Ford returns as Indiana Jones, and even though this movie gives him some redeeming qualities, the ship has sailed for Harrison Ford to play as Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford is 80 years old, and it shows, as he is Indiana Jones for the very last time, and they also do a lot of scenes when he's younger, and the de-aging to his face with the CGI is super noticeable, and I just couldn't get past it. Also, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is brought into this movie, and I didn't like her at all. However, I don't think she ruined this movie, but she still was really obnoxious and really annoying. The story also was completely boring, and I didn't like it at all. Almost fell asleep during it. So, for me, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was a very disappointing movie that I did not like. So you could probably guess I'm going to give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny a thumbs down. Now let me answer this question. Should you go out and see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Now I'm going to split this category into two. So I'm going to give you my recommendation for casual fans, and I'm also going to give my recommendation for super Indiana Jones fans. So starting with the casual fans, I don't recommend Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for anyone who is a casual fan. If you've never seen an Indiana Jones movie or you have no clue what Indiana Jones is, first off, I don't know what you're doing, but that is okay. For me, I would recommend you watching any of the three movies that are in the Indiana Jones trilogy, with Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade, as those are way better movies than Dial of Destiny, and they're going to give you a better experience than Dial of Destiny ever will. However, if you are a super fan going into that recommendation, this is a more challenging recommendation. Personally, as a big Indiana Jones fan, I was going to watch this movie either way, and so do I recommend it to super fans? Yes and no. Overall, my answer to that would be yes, because might as well just finish out the franchise. This movie doesn't ruin the franchise, in my opinion, but it's a bad movie. So you can take it with a grain of salt. If you skip it, it's not going to be the end of the world. And if you watch it, it's also not going to be the end of the world. There's something to take away from if you do watch it, if you are a big fan. And if you skip it, there's nothing to worry about. So those are my recommendations for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. There you have it. That's my review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let me know down below in the comments if you've seen Indiana Jones 5, and let me know what you thought. If you haven't seen it, let me know what your favorite Indiana Jones movie is. For me personally, it is going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it will always be Raiders of the Lost Ark because it's significantly better than any of the other movies, hands down, 100%. Besides that, if you watched this, I do really appreciate it. And if you liked it, make sure you click that like button and consider watching another video. Also, if you like the content I do here, make sure you're subscribed so I can see you next time. Till then, peace.